Hello, my dear book readers, and welcome to today's book review. Today, we're going to review The Haunting of Maddy Clare by Simone St. James. So grab your pen and paper and let's review chapter 1. Of pen and paper, quick disclaimer. While going over today's book review, I will have my notes as well, just to keep us on point with this book review. So, as I stated earlier, going into chapter 1, Sarah Piper gives us a clear description of her first day of meeting Alistair Gillis. What a name. But anywho, so Sarah, unfortunately, is on the poverty side of life. She details that, she has jobs that's off and on. And if anybody is wondering what I'm talking about, right now I'm giving you all a quick backdrop of the story. So carrying on, in great detail, Sarah briefly describes a typical day within her life. And so let me read just a little bit of it for you. In the morning, unable to face another day alone in my flat, I wander through the bustle of Piccadilly. When she mentioned Piccadilly, I thought about the local Piccadilly in Jackson, Mississippi. The collar of my thin coat pulled high on my neck. The air was swollen with cottonly drizzle that did not quite fall to the ground and pressed my cheeks and eyelashes. And so, shortly after we get this brief description of what it's like to wake up within the world of Sarah Piper, we get into Sarah receiving a unusual, or if you will, mysterious call, which is going to lead to a surprising job opportunity for her. And also, we go into the moment where she meets Alistair Gillis. Again, what a name. Okay, so picture it. You are Sarah Piper, and you are getting ready to go to this unusual coffee shop to meet this mystery person by the name of Alistair Gillis. That name is still kind of getting me. But anywho, you're meeting this mysterious person. You're in this mysterious coffee shop, and per my notes, within this moment, there's like this instant attraction between you and this person. That's what I definitely felt as a reader. I saw myself as Sarah Piper. And for my fellas, you can definitely, reverse the roles here. But anywho, as a reader, I saw myself as Sarah Piper going into this coffee shop and imagining myself seeing this young, handsome guy with the latest trends of clothing on, preparing his tea, and running his hands through my fave, his locks. But anywho, this gives us our first indication of the element of romance that was mentioned during the previous book review that I discussed with you all. And so we also get into Alistair discussing the job opportunity with Sarah. And so when Sarah is informed within this moment that she would have to document as well as help Alistair solve this ghost hunt, she's dumbfounded. And I'm pretty sure if you all, were put in her shoes, you would also be dumbfounded. But also, per my notes, Sarah, finds herself questioning, okay, are ghosts, or if you will, the paranormal, is it a real thing? And so Sarah, if you all was wondering, she did accept the opportunity. And so I would have to say, so here's my thought about chapter 1 based on the information that I have provided. Chapter 1, it is upbeat. I would also say that the writer Simone St. Patrick, she wrote chapter 1 with the idea of the information being easy to comprehend. You know, she definitely had that in mind while she was writing. And I also was able to, as I stated earlier, I was able to place myself within the shoes of Sarah Piper. And I enjoyed this element so much, being able to, place myself within her shoes and start the day with her. You know, us going from her flat in London, and it's 1920, going from there to her receiving this strange phone call and her being informed that she has to go to this coffee shop that's not even her local coffee shop, that has these strange things going on within it, to meet this young man, by the looks of it, who's going to be a love interest for her by the name of Alistair Gillis. Plus finding out that, okay, I have to not only help you document your work, but we're going to be hunting ghosts. I'm telling you, I completely felt her emotions. I was totally taken there. And I believe that's something that readers will truly enjoy, while reading this read, as they journey from chapter 1 to chapter 2. And how could I forget one key thing that I want you all to think about, because this is what I thought about as a reader of chapter 1 before I speak on chapter 2. I wonder is any past trauma for the both of these characters is going to come up, because when dealing with ghosts, and when you get into this person or person's past story, life story, that is, I'm pretty sure there's some form of relatableness that may, that these characters may connect to, which causes me to question, is there going to be, like some past trauma discovered with these two characters? But anywho, moving on to chapter 2. So chapter 2 is a continuation of chapter 1. We still have Sarah and Alistair in the coffee shop. And so now we're getting into the job opportunity. Alistair informing Sarah of the job opportunity. And also along the way, we are introduced to the element of these two characters becoming more familiar with one another, because we also have Sarah, still emphasizing to Alistair how she has never, encountered a ghost. And so basically her mind is blown. And within this personal dialogue between these two characters, we start to get into, as I stated earlier, the element of one becoming more familiar with the other, which I feel is a starting development of trust between these two characters. And as I stated earlier, we're going to get into the first mission. So, let me ask you a question. Per my notes, picture yourself being told the following: there's a female ghost in Warringstoke, London. She attacked a priest during an exorcism. Incredible Hulk, huh? She's a ghost that has an issue with men. And this was also noted within my reading of chapter 2. While she was living, the presence of a man upsetted her. So, what's the tea behind that? But anywho, and she hung herself within the barn of the family that she worked for. I had to think of that. And it's your responsibility to assist with solving and documenting this case. So, how would you handle it? Well, this is the first posing question from chapter 2, to be honest. I would say, at least for me as the reader. And so, going back to what I stated earlier, when we get into posing questions, the second posing question would be, what is the issues goes with me? And so this question carried me into this idea that I was thinking about. Um, per my notes, could this young woman who committed suicide be a young black woman? Could we have the element of enslavement placed here within the story? Because I want you all to keep in mind that the ghost is a young 19-year-old service maid of the Clare family. And she hung herself within the barn of the Clare family on their property. So, given the time frame here, that's just something to think about. But moving along, the character, the character Sarah Piper asked the question anyone would ask: will the ghost hurt me? Now, I found that to be very interesting, given it has been made known that this ghost, has a problem with men. But I find it interesting that she asked as a woman, is there a possibility for this ghost to hurt me? But Alistair assured her that he would be with her along the way and that she has nothing to worry about during their mission. And lastly, we are introduced to our first element of trauma. While discussing the mission and while Sarah is thinking about the idea of ghosts, she actually thinks about her parents. And this actually causes certain emotions for her. And so, folks, when I think about chapter 2, I would have to say that chapter 2 is written very clearly. I'll say in comparison to chapter 1. Chapter 2 is written very clearly, and yet again, we have the element of clear understanding. And so I will have to add this quick little note here. I also enjoyed, seeing the development of trust being developed between these two characters. I feel the element of trust, is going to bring us into these two characters going along this journey of developing compassion as well as companionship. And that's going to be interesting, especially for my diehard romance folks. And I am one of those people, who loves a great love story. So far, I have to give The Haunting of Maddy Clare a thumbs up for both chapters 1 and 2. And so, again, chapters 1 and 2 are upbeat. Like, I am so excited about these chapters. Like, I'm starting to shoot out words before I really think about what I want to say here. But chapters 1 and 2 are upbeat, foundational chapters. And let me add this really quick per my notes. So far, chapter 1 and 2, you have these pieces of stories that sounds, very adventurous, that's thought-provoking, and may lead to moments of discovery for our characters. With this being said, I highly recommend this read for people who love mysteries, which I forgot to mention earlier. The author, Simone St. Patrick, she is a Canadian author. And so writing mysteries, writing stories about the paranormal, and also writing historical facts is her thing. And it's all within chapters 1 and 2. But as I was stating earlier, you're going to get mystery. You're going to get thought provokingness. And you're also going to have the element of romance. And yes, right then I did make up a word. But anywho, I would also recommend this book for, anyone who loves a great ghost story, especially for the Halloween season. And so, to my dear bookworms, at this time, I would like to say thank you for watching. Please subscribe, Please feel free to leave a comment, especially if you have read The Hunting of Maddy Clare by Simone St. Patrick. And in reference to our dear friend here, happy Halloween.